You know, we're still reeling from all the incredible games shown off at this year's Xbox and Bethesda showcase. But while we wait for them to hit the shelves, we've got some major discounts on a whole bunch of amazing titles from Warner Bros. Games, Annapurna, Ubisoft, and Deep Silver, thanks to this week's Publisher Spotlight sale.
One game that we are massively stoked for is the new Saints Row, which promises another ludicrously over-the-top criminal caper for us all to enjoy. In fact, you can even download the game's character customization tool right now and start crafting your own criminal mastermind. In the meantime though, why not revisit one of the series' finest hours with Saints Row the Third Remastered? The third entry in the open world series sees the titular Saints having to start again from the very bottom after being forced out of their hometown. Which is a bit of a raw deal, but it does provide you with an ideal excuse to do stuff like this as you claw your way back to the top. Boasting your slick new visuals that hit the full 4K Ultra HD on Xbox Series X, this is the best those swaggering Saints have ever looked, at least until the next game arrives. Right now, Saints Row the Third is 75% off.
If you've been gleefully murdering your way across ancient Egypt ever since Assassin's Creed Origins was added to the Xbox Game Pass library, then now is the perfect time to check out the most recent episode in Ubisoft's pseudo-historical saga with a 60% saving on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. This time around, you'll be pillaging the British Isles as a Viking invader, taking part in epic sieges and throwing an axe or two at anyone who looks at you funny. With its astonishing scale and stunning visuals, this is far and away the most cinematic the series has ever been, especially on Xbox Series X and S, where you can wage war in a smooth 60 FPS. And it's all popping off in Valhalla right now too, with a new roguelite mode called The Forgotten Saga arriving this summer, followed by the final piece of the game's main story at the end of the year, both of which, by the way, are going to be available for free.
Sam Barlow has carved out his own niche in narrative gaming with the desktop thrillers Her Story and Telling Lies, the second of which has a whole chunk lopped off its price in this week's sale. Playing as a former FBI agent, it's up to you to get to the bottom of a recent case involving an undercover agent and an environmentalist group. It's a tale filled with troubled pasts, tangled lies, and moral dilemmas, and all you've got to untangle it is a search bar and a vast video database, so this one is going to require all of your detective skills. Both Telling Lies and Her Story are currently available on Xbox and PC Game Pass, where they will be joined later this year by Barlow's newest full-motion video mystery, Immortality. For now though, Telling Lies is 70% off in this week's sale.
Allow me to set the scene for the next one. The nation of Petria has slipped into full-blown authoritarianism, with the population more politically divided than ever before and full-on civil war beginning to look pretty inevitable. As a result, many of the nation's youngsters have decided to put the whole place in their rear-view mirror, hitchhiking their way along the only available exit route, Road 96. Now 30% off, this roguelike narrative game lets you take control of one aspiring escapist after another as you try to negotiate a journey to the border. Along the way, you'll bump into characters from across the political spectrum, forcing you to make a quick decision about how to handle them. There are some who are genuinely looking for an open-hearted exchange of ideas, and then there's this guy. Make smart decisions, manage your money right, and you might just make it all the way to freedom. Fail to do so, and your journey might end before you've even caught a glimpse of the border. With each new run featuring a fresh batch of procedurally generated interactions, you never quite know where Road 96 will take you next time round.
While the Rainbow team is usually found defusing bombs, taking down terrorists, and neatly arranging themselves around various door frames, Extraction sees them taking on a whole new kind of challenge. Available on Xbox Game Pass and now 50% off, Rainbow Six Extraction takes place in a bleak vision of the future, where aliens have all but taken over our dear blue planet. So it's up to you and up to 3 buddies to head into one infested zone after another, gathering intel and completing other vital objectives before making your getaway. That's the extraction part, you see, and it's super important because any operator left behind will find themselves ensnared by the enemy in a process that is not only super gross, but which leaves you unable to use them until you've gone back to break them out. So if you don't want your teammates to fall out with you, make sure you watch each other's backs.
Another massive game that we can't wait to check out when it arrives this September is Lord of the Rings Gollum. But in the meantime, there's plenty of Middle-earth fun to be had with the Shadow Bundle now 65% off. bringing together the Shadow of Mordor and the Shadow of War in one tidy package. These open-world action games tell the story of a haunted ranger named Talion. And by haunted, I don't mean that he's worried about things he did in the past, no. I mean that there is an actual, literal ghost living inside his body. Over the course of these two epic adventures, you'll get to raise your very own army and lead it against the forces of Sauron, taking part in massive battles, slowly slicing your way towards the big bad himself.
The third game in the Wasteland series takes us back to its eradicated world, where two proud Arizona Rangers have been forced to make a deal with the devil to survive. Or if not the devil, then a dude who sure seems to be the next worst thing. It's up to you whether you decide to help the Patriarch of Colorado tighten his iron hold on the region, or work in the shadows to overthrow him, with the story playing out in all sorts of ways depending on your decisions. But no matter what you pick, you better get your gear in order, because you're guaranteed to find yourself in a whole bunch of tight tactical battles. There's even a permadeath option for those who really want to turn up the tension, or those who really just hate one of their squad mates. Wasteland 3 is now 75% off, and you'll find the full trilogy, including the remastered version of the original game, on both Xbox and PC Game Pass.
Last year, the Left 4 Dead franchise clambered up out of its grave in the new, terrifying form known as Back 4 Blood, although it did then shuffle itself directly onto Xbox Game Pass, so that was nice. In this team-based shooter, you and up to 3 buddies play as a group of regular civilians turned zombie-killing experts known as the Cleaners. While the Left 4 Dead games were more about running for dear life, Back 4 Blood gives you the firepower to take the fight straight to those undead bozos, using all manner of conventional and improvised weapons to take them out. You know, for a group called the Cleaners, they sure do leave one hell of a mess. Now 50% off, Back 4 Blood is a great way to find out which of your friends will be there for you if things really do go south. Plus, you know, it's just really fun to shoot zombies together.
The world of Ashen is a pretty bleak place to be, and not just because it doesn't have a sun. This vast realm is positively packed with things that can and will kill you at the slightest opportunity. From gigantic monsters to enemy warriors to other different giant monsters. Just a whole lot of giant monsters, really. Fortunately, this brooding action RPG does include some folk who aren't out for your blood. Convince the survivors you meet out in the world to join your community, and they'll provide you with vital services to help you become more powerful. And thanks to the game's passive multiplayer, you'll also sometimes encounter other players who can choose to band together with. With a massive 70% now sliced off its price tag, Ashen is well worth checking out for anyone who enjoys a good Souls-like.
Finally, we've got Riders Republic. It's a game which takes a host of different extreme sports, an insane number of players, and just mashes them all together for one adrenaline-pumping experience. This massively multiplayer sports game is set in a sprawling open world that is just begging players to ski, snowboard, and bike all over it before taking to the skies in their rocket-powered wingsuits to enjoy the view from above. Riders Republic actually lets you switch seamlessly between these different modes, making traversing its wide world an absolute blast. And once you're done gallivanting, you can begin honing your skills across each discipline by taking part in the competitive events that are sprinkled across the map. Xbox Series X and S players can even take part in a 64-person mass race. Just don't expect too much in the way of personal space on this one. The Gold edition of Riders Republic is now 60% off and features a full Year 1 pass to help you enjoy even more of the game's robust customization options in between the races.
That's a wrap on this deals, but be sure to hit the comments to let us know whether you'll be spending this weekend battling aliens, biking down mountains, or building a criminal empire. Oh, and also, which games you'll be buying. We'll be back soon with more spectacular Xbox info, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell on your way out. We'll see you next time.